I'm Susan DeLeo, Oak Hill Collaborative Digital Inclusion Specialist. We'd like to welcome you to the last week of Raspberry Pi After School Online. This week you'll be taught by Sam Hoffman, a student instructor from Youngstown State University. You've done well to make it this far, and you can do even better by finishing strong. We hope you'll enjoy your last week with us, learning about computer programming, running scripts, and automating with Minecraft.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the final week of Raspberry Pi After School Online. My name is Sam Hoffman, and I'm a student instructor with Oak Hill Collaborative. Today we're going to be talking about computer programming with Python. Before we get started, let's go over what we need for this week. In the mail, you should have received a QR code to watch this video, a parent or guardian guide, a post assessment, and a USB drive with all the files you'll need. You'll also need your CanaKit, your monitor, your keyboard and mouse setup. I know that you're excited to get started, but before we do, please take your post-assessment that you received this week. It's the same test that you took during week 1, so it should look familiar. When you take it this time, it'll be much easier and you should score higher than the last time. For tips on how to scan or take pictures of your child's post-assessment, please read the Parent Guardian Guide. You've probably heard of computer programming before, but what exactly does it mean to a computer? At its most basic level, programming is a set of instructions you give to a computer for it to complete a task. For example, when you have to clean your room, you might be given a list of instructions, like to make your bed or put away your toys. When you do all those things, you have completed a list of instructions. A script is a list of commands or instructions that both the user and the computer can understand. When a computer is able to understand and complete a task in a script, we call this running the script. When the computer runs a script, it deciphers what is written line by line. Depending on how it understands these lines, the computer will either run the script or fail trying. Just like how we misunderstand instructions, computers can also misunderstand lines. This will give you an error known as a bug. Fun fact, bugs get their name because the first computer bug was caused by a moth getting caught in a computer relay. We have one more important thing to talk about before we get started on the lab. There are all sorts of different computer programming languages, just like there are different human languages. Some of these computer languages are used to make websites, or even power your computer's operating system. Isn't it amazing that computers know how to speak all these different languages? It's even more amazing that you too can learn how to speak these languages. The programming language that we're going to learn about today is Python. But what is Python? Python is a high-level, general-purpose programming language. High-level means that it's easier to look at and understand. General purpose means that the language can be used for a variety of different things. It can be used for artificial intelligence, making video games, and today, building Minecraft castles. So before we get into coding, we're going to discuss the different definitions of the things we're going to be looking at within the code. First, we have a variable, which is going to be a name assigned to one specific piece of data, whether that be a name or a number. Within variables, you have different types. You have an integer, which is going to be a number. You have a float, which is going to be a number with a decimal point. So like if you had 10, it would be an integer. But if you had 10.1, that would be a float. You have string, which is, it could be letters or numbers. And then you have an array, which is a list of data, numbers, or words, which is stored in like numerical order. So if you put 1 in first and then you put in 2 in second, your list is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And control flow, which is the thing that is in the beginning of each section of code. You have while, which is while x is greater than 0, or if 1 is less than 3 or greater than 3, in which case you would have a true or false statement. You have your for loop, which is while this thing happens, then you put the code below it. And then you have your if and else statements, which is if this happens, do this. If this doesn't happen, do this other command. A library is code that somebody else wrote. That's going to be the import statement you see in one of the pieces of code we're going to look at. And then you have a function, which is a small or large piece of code, which is going to be, you're going to call to in the beginning of the code. You're going to put a number into it, and it's going to spit a number out. and then you're going to store that number in another function. Turn on your Raspberry Pi, and you should be looking at your desktop. You're going to take your USB stick, you're going to plug it into your Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So you're going to have a pop-up that says removable medium is inserted. It's going to say open in File Manager. You're going to click OK. You're going to get a folder with your 3 programs and a folder on it. Ignore the folder. You're going to go up to the top left corner next to your browser. It's going to be a folder with, it's going to say File Manager, and it's going to have a 2-folder icon. You're going to click on that. You're going to put that on the left side. You're going to take your USB stick, put it on the right. You're going to select the 3 files. You're going to right click, say copy. You're going to go over into your /home/pi. You're going to say paste. And then you have your 3 files here. You can minimize the USB stick. You're gonna hold Control. You're gonna click on these 3. You're gonna click on Python 3 idle. It's gonna open up those 3 programs in the top middle of your taskbar. So first we're going to look at storytelling. I'm just moving it over here, so that's first. So this is a simple script that tells a story. You have your variable name equals Sam. So like in this case, a variable is a way of storing information, in this case a name. You have another variable named job, which is professional skateboarder. So job equals professional skateboarder. You have your action, which is climb trees, and you have a best friend, salamander. In this case, whatever is in quotes, quotations, and says print, whatever's inside of this bracket is going to print out into the console, which is the screen that you're viewing when you run the program. In this case, it's going to say, the code is saying input and press enter to continue. In this line, it's hello, my name is, which is in quotations, and then you have here name. So when you look at name, you're going to go up, you can look at your variables up here, and you see name equals Sam. So in theory, when you run the code, it's going to say hello, my name is Sam. Same thing in this case, when you're looking at this line, I work as a, which is in quotations, and you see plus job. Well, if you look at the top and you look at job, job equals professional skateboarder. So when you print it out, it should say I work as a professional skateboarder. So when you go up to the corner, you're going to go, you see File, Edit, Format, and Run. It's the 4th button over. You're going to click on Run, and you're going to say Run Module. And you're going to get this screen. You can drag this wherever you want. So welcome to the story. Press Enter to continue. You're going to press Enter, which is above the Shift key to the right middle of your keyboard. Press Enter. Hello, my name is Sam. Press Enter again. I work as a professional skateboarder. When you press Enter again, for fun, I like to climb trees. Press Enter again. At the end of my day, my best friend is salamander. Click Enter, and that's the end of the story. So we already went through how this code works and how each variable interacts with the words already in the code. Now I'm going to show you how you can customize the story that is being told. In this case, your first variable is your name. You can say, instead of Sam, your name can be Mark. So now when you print it out, it's going to say, hello, my name is Mark. The next print statement here asking for input is, I work as a plus job. You go up here, you can look at job. If you want to work as a doctor or a nurse, you can put that up there, whatever you want to be. You can then, below that, you can look at action. In this case, the action was climbing trees. You look down here. Your plus action statement is for fun, I like to plus action. You can change your action to jumping or jump. So in this case now I'd print out, for fun, I like to jump. And then for your best friend, you look down here at plus best friend. The statement before that is, and at the end of the day, my best friend is A, and then best friend. So you can change this name to whatever you want to change it to. Now when we go to print out, you go to run, and then save your source. Now when it prints out, press enter. Hello, my name is Mark. I work as a doctor. For fun, I like to jump. And at the end of the day, my best friend is Salamander. Press enter again. End of the story, ends the program. Okay, so you're going to close out of storytelling. You can either minimize it, which is the line that looks like a little line, or you can click on the button that looks like a little X. Click on that. If you opened all of them at once, you're going to go up to your taskbar and you're going to click on the button that says guessinggame.py. Now, if you go through this one, you have your comments here saying basically what it's doing. You're importing random, which this variable is going to be used as the number generator to pick the random number. You're basically at this point saying if replay equals true, then you're going to start the code from the beginning. There's a while statement here. So while replay, you have your number, which is going to be 1 through 10, your guess count, which right now is set to 0 because the game has not been played. Player guesses stores the numbers that have been saved into the array. Done is set equal to false because when you start playing the game, you have to meet certain specifications before the game is done. While, you have your while statement here, which is while the game's not done and your guess count is less than 3, so you have 3 times to play the game. Guess equals, the console's gonna ask you for a number input, 1 through 10, and it's gonna store it to guess. If guess equals number, this basically determines if your number matches the randomly generated number. It's going to tell you that you guessed it. And it's also going to set done equal to true, which is going to end the code. If you didn't guess it, it's going to, the code's going to say if guess equals the number, or else if your guess is greater than the number, the console's going to tell you that you guessed too high and that you need to try again. And if you guessed lower, it's going to tell you to guess again, but that the number was too low. In this print statement, it's going to tell you that you have, it takes 3 minus how many times you already played the game. So like if you played twice, it's going to say 3 minus 2, and you have 1 time to play the game again. In this code, it says your guesses, and then it pulls the amount of guesses that you had above. There's an else statement here. If guess count is greater than or equal to 3, it's going to tell you the randomly generated number. It's going to tell you that you lost. And if it's something else, it's going to say that you won, because if you were less than 3 and you guessed it correct, then it was less than 3 instead of more than 3. So if this statement didn't happen, then this statement would happen. Down here in this code, play again equals input. So it's going to ask you if you want to play again. If you want to play again, so in this case it's saying if play again is not equal to yes, then you set replay to false, which is going to be the same as saying no. In this case, the code would stop running. you would not loop into the while replay loop, which is everything under this segment of the code. If the user said yes, which means that if yes is equal to, you would go to replay, which would bring you back up to this segment of the code. And then you would it would pick another random number, you'd have your guess count, and you would have your library of chosen numbers. Okay, so now that we have gone through the code, we're going to run the program and see what it does. So you're going to go up to run, and then run module. So it's asking for an input. What number am I going to guess? I'm going to guess 3. So my guess was too low. It wants me to guess again. I have 2 guesses left, and my first guess was 3. So if 3 was too low, we're going to guess 6. My guess was too high, so it could either be 4 or 5. My last guess will be 5. And I guessed it, and I won. Then it asks at the end, would you like to play again? If you want to play again, you can click yes. If you don't want to play again, click no. In this case, I don't want to play again, so I'll click no. And then it exits the program and goes back to the terminal. So in the beginning of this segment, you should have opened up all 3 programs. If your program isn't already open, right-click on castles.py and open that in Python 3. In this case, I already had one open, so I'm going to close out of that, go to the one I had open. Next, we're going to look at basically the segments and some of the code in here. Basically, this whole piece of code is a shopping list of things that this program is going to be doing in Minecraft. You have you're setting your blocks with a size, a base height, and you're setting your size and material. And then throughout the entire code, it's basically just this same line modified with the height you want of it and the material that it's going to be made out of. Next step is going to be, we're going to start opening Minecraft. You're going to click up on the top left corner, go to Games, and then click on Minecraft Pi. You're going to give that a second to load, drag it around if you want. You're going to go to Start Game, create new world, and then give it some time to think about it. So once you're loaded into the world, you're just going to want to look around for a sec, see where you are, maybe walk over to a flatter part of the map. So now that you got to a flatter part of the map, wait for the world to load in again. You're going to press Escape, and then you're going to go over here, go to the top left, click on Run, Run Module, and then you're going to wait for Minecraft to load in. It might freeze for up to 30 seconds. Just don't worry. Just let it do its thing and think about its decisions. And when it unfreezes in the background, click back to game, and you have your castle. So basically the code that you had within your program was the layout for the castle, and it set the, like this is made of stone, this is made of wood, that's all defined within the code. Congratulations, you have all your tools you need to become an expert computer scientist. Over the past 6 weeks, you've learned all about your Raspberry Pi, from what it's made of to all the different ways you can talk with it. The possibilities for you and your computer are endless. Working together, you'll be able to solve problems, play video games, and even program your own games. Enjoy and share your knowledge with your friends. This has been Sam Hoffman with Oak Hill Collaborative signing off.